The phrase, "there is no such thing as a free lunch," reflects a basic truth in economics. Nothing in this life is truly free. The sooner we realize this, the better off we'll be. We'll make smarter choices with our time and money when we understand what things really cost. Not just obvious cost, but also the other things we give up to get them. Still, free is a powerful word, and sellers know how it motivates shoppers. One big restaurant chain gave away free meals for kids every day of the week. Phone companies have handed out free smartphones, even the fancy expensive ones. In Texas, some power companies offer free electricity at night and on weekends. And don't forget those shiny ads promising free beach vacations. But is there really such a thing as a free lunch? We'll put offers like these under the microscope and analyze them from an economist's perspective. Get the real story on free stuff coming up next on Drive-Thru Economics. As a teacher, I often got email messages from investment companies offering me free meals. The pitch would go something like this. We are delighted to extend a special invitation for you to join us for an exclusive dinner at one of the finest steakhouses in the country. This is not just a dinner. It's an opportunity to savor a gourmet meal in an atmosphere of elegance and sophistication. After dinner, investment and retirement expert Elliot Carlin will guide you through key strategies designed to help you secure a prosperous retirement. So, you have gotten this email, and you believe the offer is sincere. You know the restaurant's excellent reputation, and there are few foods you like better than a prime steak grilled to perfection. Let's say the complete meal has a value exceeding $75. Do you accept the invitation to this dinner? You should think about it for a moment. But as for me, the answer was always a hard no. It sounds like a great meal, and I'm usually thrilled when someone else picks up the tab. But let's be real, nothing's ever totally free. Why? Well, for several reasons. But at its most basic level, having dinner with a bunch of people brought together for a sales pitch would mean missing dinner with my wife and family. And to me, that's an opportunity cost that is much greater than any enjoyment I'd get from the steak. I once asked a big-time economist if he had removed the word free from his vocabulary. His answer was enlightening. He said, "No, it's just that free doesn't mean what most people think it does. There will always be trade-offs and an opportunity cost that must be paid." But let's not just focus on things like the free dinner. There are many other applications for the no free lunch concept. Some people argue that businesses can be taxed more to fund government initiatives like healthcare without imposing any costs on individual citizens. I call this the "let somebody else pay for it" fallacy. In reality, it's just another supposed free lunch. Why? Because businesses don't actually pay taxes. While they may write the check, the money ultimately comes from people, whether it's stockholders, employees, or customers. In the end, people must bear the cost of that fraudulent free lunch because there's nobody else to pay it. Another free lunch fallacy is the belief that the government can make inherently expensive things cheap by simply passing price control laws. Government price controls have been around for millennia. Nearly 4,000 years ago, a Babylonian king established strict controls over wages and prices. These measures have been attempted repeatedly throughout history with little success. Such laws failed in the Roman Empire, during the French Revolution, throughout the long history of the Soviet Union, and in West Germany after World War II. In the 1600s, the Massachusetts Bay Colony implemented maximum wage laws for craftsmen to prevent them from charging high prices. More recent examples include rent control laws in New York City and San Francisco and the fight for a $15 an hour minimum wage. Whenever these laws have been implemented, they have consistently led to unintended and often tragic consequences that should have been foreseeable from the start. This occurs because people often misunderstand how prices work and demand government action. Unfortunately, some politicians seeking votes tend to exploit and perpetuate this misunderstanding. To quote economist Thomas Sowell, prices are not just arbitrary numbers plucked out of the air, or numbers dependent on whether sellers are greedy or not. In the competition of the marketplace, prices are signals that convey underlying realities about relative scarcities and relative costs of production. Despite this reality, governments have set and will continue to set artificial prices in the market. While they can impose these prices, they are powerless to address the negative, unintended consequences of these laws. Before I leave this topic, I want to quickly mention two other examples. In 1973, several major oil-producing countries halted their oil exports to the U.S. in response to its support of Israel during a Middle East war. This led to a sharp increase in gasoline prices and widespread shortages, prompting people and governments to explore ways to conserve energy and seek alternative fuel sources. One objective of the federal government was to enhance the average fuel efficiency of cars and light trucks sold in the United States. To comply with the new, stricter standards, automakers frequently reduced the size and weight of vehicles, even though this raised safety concerns. Studies conducted in the 1980s and 1990s indicated that lighter vehicles were associated with an increase in traffic fatalities. So mandating more fuel-efficient cars came at the cost of safety. Unemployment tends to rise during economic downturns, and the longer and more severe the recession, the more likely the Federal Reserve is to implement what's known as expansionary monetary policy. This approach involves increasing the money supply in the economy, which aims to lower interest rates. When interest rates drop, certain effects are expected. For example, businesses may be more inclined to expand, and individuals are more likely to take out home mortgages. According to economic theory, this should result in employers hiring more workers. As these newly employed workers spend more, the economy is expected to recover. It sounds good, but it's not a free lunch. In fact, it comes with a cost that everyone must bear. When the Federal Reserve increases the money supply, it can lead to inflation. This is because, while there are more dollars in circulation, the quantity of goods and services available in the market doesn't change. It's similar to an auction where the number of bidders suddenly increases, with more people competing to buy items like cars, video game systems, and restaurant meals. The prices of these goods and services tend to rise due to higher demand. In other words, while increasing the money supply can stimulate the economy by putting more people back to work, it also leads to higher prices, which means that everyone who spends money ends up paying for this economic boost. So there's no such thing as a free lunch, but many of you probably already suspected that. However, just because something isn't entirely free doesn't mean it's not worth considering. By carefully comparing the costs and benefits of different options, we can make informed choices that best meet our needs and wants.